All right, we're live. It's a good time to call Star's husband. We'll see if this thing will continue to charge. It's at 5%, so it's dim, but it might work. The last message I sent to Star was on Sunday at 10:51 p.m. And I typed, "And this is why it is not safe for me to be here. You didn't come here to help me. You came here to ignore everyone for Ventus. I just want to get to Nebraska with my evidence safely. I can't listen to this crap nonstop. Seriously. This is highly immoral." Oh, yeah, it wasn't in text, it was in phone calls. So let's see. Is this it? I had a lot of fucking phone calls today. Cellular, cellular, cellular. I'm looking for one that says, Georgia, right here. Actually, I'll scroll back a little bit so you can see how many times he actually called me. All right, he called me 28 times on the 15th, 3 times on the 17th, 2 more times on the 7th. There's quite a bit of them. Maybe I should save his number. Um, the one where he made 28 calls in one day, Star declined it or Ventus declined it. I don't know which. One of them picked up my phone and declined it. I was still passed out. Um, Create new contact. A Jose Star's husband. All right. Now you can see. And of course, more from Star's husband and also from my Aunt Mary. Daniel something or other typed, "Sean David, I'm not a lawyer, but I have a better legal mind than..." Dude, you're not going to represent me in court. He didn't write it in the live chat. This is a notification that I got. So he's typing on a previous one. Hello? Hey, Jose, it's Sean again. Hey, Sean. Hey, I got a question for you. Yeah. With that stuff down there at Ventus's with your wife, um, that's going to affect my court stuff quite a bit. Wow. I want to I want to try to get some information from you the best I can because I need to be able to actually say it in court. just because of this.
What do you mean?
Well, like all the stuff that we've had conversations about, it's stuff that I need to be able to bring up in court.
Alright, hey, hang on, okay? Right now I'm outside. I was walking the dog here.
Yes, sir.
Let me head to my room and then we'll talk.
Yes, sir. Should I hang up and wait for you?
Huh?
Should I hang up?
No, hang on, alright? Don't worry.
Yes, sir. Oh God, I wish this thing would charge.
Hello?
I'm here.
Yeah.
All right, so basically, I guess, what's your take on the whole thing? I mean,
Well, I mean, you already know I hate it. I hate every bit of it. But I can't change her mind. She doesn't want to come back. Or she just doesn't want to come back. She says she's only going to come to Georgia to visit. And then she's going to leave again.
she's gonna live with Ventus?
Yeah, she's going to live there. She says that she's going to get an apartment because she's not going to live with them. But they already are every single night. She's just, where does she sleep? At his place. Where does she sleep exactly? In his bed.
Yeah, his house is in a basement, and it's basically just a divider wall that's open on either end of it as a doorway. So I mean, when they had sex, we could all hear it. Jose was, or not Jose, but Juan was pretty pissed off about it too.
I know, I mean, because she even, like, talked to him, and even he was on board about her fucking whoever she wants. The whole reason that she changed as a complete person was because of him. Like, my marriage, the word marriage became nothing to her now.
It's kind of messed up that she called you a cheater and now she has sex with whoever she wants.
Exactly.
So do you think she came down here this time to actually help me, or do you think she came down for Ventus?
I don't even, like, when she got there, like, the first day, what was she doing?
Pretty much being stuck on Ventus.
Exactly.
Did she tell you about Ventus before she came back from Georgia? Before she came back the second time? Or before she showed up the second time?
Yeah, like, when she was there, you know, I talked to her, she told me that, you know, that she got you out of Nebraska, that there was a friend in Colorado that was going to help you guys. And then, you know, she got there, she was telling me about him. And I don't know when it happened, but she just decided to go ahead and talk to him. And she never said anything about it until she came here. and she's telling me like, oh, like, I don't wanna aim for you. I wanna go have a relationship with other guys, even with Juan.
Juan was the one who did all the work while we were there. Not literally all of it. I mean, there's Star did sit with me for a few phone calls, but she was basically,
She was just there.
yeah, pretty much. I don't know who she was texting with. I actually assumed it was you because for a lot of that time she wasn't paying any attention whatsoever, and she
No,
was
she
pretty
wasn't
intent on her
texting me.
phone. No,
Whenever I tried texting her, I mean, she barely even responded. She'd tell me, like, I could be talking to her, like, through Messenger, and then she would just, like, disappear for, like, 2 hours, 3, 4.
oh, she was texting pretty well nonstop with somebody when she wasn't with Ventus. So it's, I don't know, maybe it was table talk. That's what we always called it. There was a girl here in Chapel named Amanda, and she had a boyfriend, and she was texting with a guy named Brock Byington, who's a meth addict, and like she was supposed to be dating this other dude, but she was texting with Brock. We were all in the same room, me and Brock and Amanda and her boyfriend, and she was texting with Brock the whole time. Turned out she just needed to go have some sex, so she went and cheated on her boyfriend. And the whole time they were texting back and forth. We were all in the same room, and everybody was pretending like everything was all right. It sure as hell wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know, when you called me 28 times that day, like I opened up my phone and there's 28 messages from you. I was like, all right, I got to talk to Star about this. And see, I was sleeping while you were calling. That's why I didn't respond.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm really
That's all
sorry
right.
about that, okay?
That's okay. It's not your fault I was sleeping. But the last one on it, it was declined, and that means that somebody picked up my phone and hit the decline button. But Ventus didn't know nothing about it. Star didn't know nothing about it, and it was just me, Ventus, and Star that were there. So it was one of them two who did it.
It was her.
Well, I don't know, dude. Like the first time when she first came down, she seemed pretty gung ho about helping me, and Juan was supposed to be the computer guy, and that's kind of how they set it up for me. And he did do computer stuff for me. It's not like he didn't. But like as soon as he was done with that, she basically, as soon as he was done with that part, she was done with him and trying to get rid of him. And of course, her and Ventus have been talking about doing that to both him and I. I was in the bathroom listening to him. I was like, God, I wish I had a recording device because this is some fucked up shit. But the money thing, like that affects your ability to have a roof over your head, and affects your kid's ability to eat. Like that's pretty screwed up.
Like we almost lost the apartment. I mean, her dad was going to get charged more. He was struggling with the tow truck enough, like it was breaking down, so he missed a bunch of days trying to fix it. And then, like, the only reason we didn't, he managed to pay rent here, which is like $1,500, and then plus the light bill, and then like insurance for the tow truck and the other car that he has, along with like food.
So you can't work because you're pretty well stuck with the kids solo, aren't you?
I mean, luckily, my family can take care of them, but when she was here, she was always saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna be taking care of them, okay?" But then like later on, we were talking, and she was saying that she's gonna get a job. I'm like, okay, great, I'll get a job too. because I was working with her dad and the Sosa, but I didn't get paid often because whatever I helped him with would basically be like my payment for living here with him.
Yes, sir.
And like him buying us food.
And you guys were gonna, before I got arrested in Colorado, you guys were gonna take me in Georgia. Is that correct?
Huh?
I said before I got arrested in Colorado, you guys were gonna allow me a room in Georgia. Is that correct?
Yeah, like I even like I told her to bring you here so that way, you're not gonna be over there like with all those with like the cops who were harassing you. Like even her dad, like he didn't like it at first, but he was just like, all right, fine, okay.
And I guess he used to be a beekeeper.
So
Star's dad.
like putting me in a beekeeper. I'm sorry.
She said that back where they're from, he was a beekeeper. What was it, Ecuador or?
Yeah. Back then, him and some other people, they had like hives of bees and they made their own honey and everything.
I've actually done that. I rather enjoyed it. I did that up in Washington State. There was a guy who used to be a lawyer, and he had bees, and he had the most beautiful garden. I was up in Washington State a couple of years ago, and I walked by the place. I'm pretty sure he's dead because everything in his backyard is dead. But yeah, that's the thing. I didn't want this to affect your kids, and I think she probably should have thought about that too.
She didn't. I mean, she says she did, but she stayed there a month. She stayed for 3 weeks. And I'm like, that's a fucking month. She's like, no, it's not. But really,
It's pretty close. I wish I had Juan's number. I'd like to call him, but I don't have it.
I don't have his number, honestly. I don't want to talk to him. Like, I hate him too. Like, I hate the fact that she went behind my back and took him after everything that when we first started dating. She told me everything that he did to her, how much abuse she went from him, how much she cheated on him, or like how much he cheated on her. Like apparently he went to a strip club and just like got a blowjob from some random ass stripper while they were still dating. And he comes back and he's just like, he still wants to be in a relationship with her.
And now she's married with kids, and he's still a part of it.
And she's now, she was married. We had kids. But that doesn't matter anymore to her because of Ventus. Ventus killed everything. He basically put his beliefs and his knowledge onto her, and she just adopted it. And now that's exactly how she thinks.
Well, that's one of them control things.
That there's no.
Ventus is real fond of saying that he doesn't do control mechanisms, and then he literally, that's all he does. Like the whole time that I was there, he was trying to figure out a way to get rid of Juan and trying to convince her that she should get rid of him and trying to convince her that they should get rid of me too, and saying stuff like, oh, well, he's a grown adult. He can find his own way home. He can go down to the local church and they'll hook him up and they'll give him a ride home, or all sorts of stuff like that. And like it's he was telling her a lot of stuff that a lot of it is actually true stuff as far as psychology goes, But also the way that he was using it was as a manipulative thing. Like he literally would not stop talking. Star just wanted attention, and Ventus was giving it to her. And with me, she really did need to pay attention to what was going on. Between helping me and getting attention, she's going to get attention. Most cutters are like that. But also, like most cutters are cutters because they were molested as a kid and they told somebody, and the person they told didn't listen. Do what?
Cutter?
Yeah, you didn't see all the cuts on her arm?
Oh, yeah. She told me her whole life, and I accepted her still. I told her that I wouldn't ever give her to cut herself. That if she doesn't want to, like, because we were living with her dad, but we were fine. She wanted to move out, but I told her that we can't because we don't have money and that we have to work and save up. But no, she just thinks like, oh, no, I want to move out now. Like, I didn't even have a car.
Whose van is it?
Huh?
The van that she's driving? Whose is that?
Like, that's ours now, but that's because, like, her dad finished paying it off. I wasn't working. The only work I did was with him, and it wasn't that much. So he was paying every single month for that car that she's driving right now. We'd always have to ask him for gas. We'd always have to ask him, like, if something happened to it. The tires popped one time or a couple times, and I had to ask him for money.
Shit's rough.
Yeah, and like, I know that you need help, but her dad needs help too. I need help, and her kids need her.
Yep.
But she didn't. She just left still.
The first time she showed up, that was understandable. Because she was legit helping me. The second time around, though, basically it was as minimal as possible. And even when we were working on stuff, like I had to just let her go. I had to tell her, hey, just go do what it is that you want to do, because she had literally been just sitting there texting on her phone.
It wasn't with me because she would just disappear.
Yeah, the first time you called me, I was surprised. I was like, hey, somebody from Georgia called. She said, well, let me see the number. And then she looked it up and she said, oh, that's my husband. I went, well, I guess you gave him my number probably in case something happens. She said, yep. I said, well, he's calling me. She said, well, just ignore him. And then when you called me 28 times, I was like, all right, I can't fucking deal with this shit. I'm trying to get stuff done with my court. I'm dealing with Ventus's drama. I'm dealing with Star's drama. I'm dealing with Juan's drama. I'm dealing with them throwing hissy fits and slamming doors. Fuck, dude. Like, it was, when it wasn't like that, it was Star in this chair, like, right next to Ventus's computer, because there's a chair right in front of it. And like they'd ghetto blast music for hours and hours and hours and hours on end. Star came in one time. She came in and we were waiting on my autism advocate to call, and she asked, what she could do, which is, really cool. Well, actually, I told her I needed help. I think is what it was, and she was basically the feeling I got from her is that she really didn't want to do a whole heck of a lot, and if we got to talk to Meg, then we should probably do it that way. So I told her, all right, well, we can wait till Meg calls. Well, Meg never called, and she apologized about it later, but that's what we were waiting on. But also, she came out and she said, well, do you need any help? I said, yep. And she said that she'd be back in a minute, and then she went and sat down with Ventus, and like that's the thing. It was impossible to get anything done while she was with Ventus, and it was Like most of the time when I got work done, it's because they went to the grocery store and spent 4 hours to bring back 2 bags of groceries.
See, like that's exactly what I mean. Like she would just disappear, not a word. She just ignored me. So whoever she was texting, it wasn't even me around.
Well, before she showed up, like my first day at Ventus's, he told me he had sex with Star, and you know,
The first day,
the very before she showed up, because she didn't show up for like a week and a half after I got to Ventus. The first few days, Ventus was gonna help me, but he was busy with other stuff, and then like he had like an hour before he had to be somewhere, and that's the only time he actually said, "All right, well, I'll help you out." I'm like, dude, we've got an hour, till you got to do this. And, at that point, I was like, all right, so it's going to take me 20 minutes to set up and get everything ready. And then it's going to take 20 minutes for him to go to where he needs to go. So that gives us 20 minutes, and that's not a whole heck of a lot of time. I need him to actually sit down with me and look at evidence. It's like they offered to help only when they couldn't, or had other things going on. And then, the first thing they're doing is telling me not Star, but Ventus, he's like, well, I got to leave. I got to be somewhere in an hour. I'm like, God, we'll have to do it when you have some actual time. And then when he went to Chicago, like, he was complaining to me about eating all the sugar, even though I'm the one that bought the sugar. And then I gave him a $50 Visa gift card that I got from a guy named Daniel Apathy. And I gave him that $50 gift card so that he could actually go get some food for us, because I didn't have a vehicle, and I didn't know where things were in the area. I mean, it's Colfax. It's pretty run down and pretty nasty.
Hey, does Ventus have a car?
No.
How do you go to Chicago?
Well, he got on a train, and then that train took him pretty close to the airport, and he might have taken a bus from there. I don't know if the train takes you directly to the airport, and then he hopped on a plane.
Fine. That's fine. I don't care about him.
Yeah. So, like, do you think that she came down the second time to help me?
No. To be honest, no.
Yeah, I didn't get that feeling either. The first time I did. I mean, the first time she did a lot. The other thing is the money that I had to try to work on all this stuff ended up getting taken from me because of lies by police officers. And no matter what, it's not their fault. Oh, well, like my autism advocate is making all sorts of excuses why it's okay. It's not the cop's fault. I'm like, no, they outright lied to me. I told them that there was warrants in Colorado, and they're like, oh, no, there's not. And I have that recorded. I need to go through tonight and actually find that recording. Dude, I spent everything that I had to try to get that help, and instead of helping me, they were busy all up on each other. And I understand that she was getting attention from Ventus, and getting attention was more important than actually helping me.
So, like, that's the shit I don't understand. Like, how the fuck can she do this and then think I'll be okay with it? Like, she knew. Like, I always told her that I loved her, and like, I was doing everything I could. I got a job here, an apartment. I was already making plans. I was gonna get her a room, leave her out while she's over there claiming to be helping you. But I knew what she was doing. And
then I sent her $400 to come down too. Like I was really hoping that since that was the last of my money, I was really hoping that sending it to her would help her to get here so she could actually help. I had $600 for my stimulus package thing that $400 that I sent her was from. See, that's the thing is that a lot of people offered to help, but then they just ended up using me. They didn't actually keep their word, and that happened almost everywhere I was. When Star and Ventus were tripping on mushrooms, I was like, "Oh God, this is gonna suck," and it did. It really did.
I don't even know her anymore.
Well, I had some people that told me they don't know me anymore. Like shit. After the trauma that I've been through, they can't expect me to be the same person that I was.
Like, and that I understand. I mean, like, everything that's happened to you, that's understandable, but she was over there for, like, just, what, like, maybe, I don't know. When she came back, she wasn't the same girl, like, she wasn't the girl that I fell in love with. She just became someone else.
Did she tell you she had sex with Ventus before she came back? She did?
No, before while she was over there, she was just fucking whoever she wanted. She fucked Juan whenever, like, when they were with over there in Nebraska with you, while they were in a motel or something. Like, she had sex with him. I don't know how many times. And then, like, she went to Colorado with you guys, and I don't know how many times she had Ventus there the first time, like that first trip over there. And then she comes back over here and she's like, "Oh, I love you." Like, she wanted to fuck here, and like, and we did. And then she tells me everything else like the next day. Like, what?
So wait, she waited until after you had sex to tell you that she was having sex with Juan and Ventus.
Yeah, she waited the next day.
And then she came down to see me after that. The second time, obviously.
Honestly, I didn't want her to go anymore. I was prepared to just, like, pop the tires for the van.
See, I didn't know that she was having sex with. Well, I kind of figured she had something going on with Juan because he was really pissed off and really, really jealous and temperamental about it. But I'm a funny fucker in real life, so I made him laugh. And I also explained to Star that I am in no way, shape, or form interested in any kind of sex. So she didn't try to have sex with me. But I also laid that on thick. I always do. I'm like, I'm not interested in sex. So puts you in a pretty tough spot, I take it.
Yeah.
And you said her dad's not willing to send her any more money.
No, he's done helping her out.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah, but she brought this upon herself. She knew that we weren't stable here. We were having money problems of our own, and she still left. She took literally our only transportation vehicle.
So you're stuck without a ride.
I mean, her dad managed to, like, get one of his old cars working again. But like I said, he had to miss, like, he missed maybe like a week or 3 days And in 3 days, like like there wasn't much work, but even then, like when there would be work, he would want to go to make the money, but he couldn't, so he lost money there.
So she's not going to be able to pay the insurance on it.
No, she's not going to be able to pay the insurance. She's not going to be able to pay for her own phone bill.
If she knew how many dudes Ventus or how many women Ventus had sex with while she was gone, I don't think she'd want to touch him. But then again, I don't know. He's always been good to me, and until this trip, when I Star showed up the same day that Ventus did, like within a few hours of each other. So, like, I would have liked to sit down with her and actually do some work, but as soon as Ventus got there, that was pretty much her priority. It got to the point where I got sick and tired of asking her for help, and I got tired of asking her to make phone calls with me because she was just going to sit there and text. I don't know, dude. Like I gotta try to get an honest court date, but nearly all of my help has been like that. It's either drugs or alcohol. And she was drinking while she was there too, but that's I don't know. She was also drinking at the hotel room in Scotts Bluff. But in Scotts Bluff, she was actually listening to what I had to say. I mean, I was trying to show her a couple of videos so that she would know what was going on, but she couldn't watch the videos because her and Juan were busy. Anytime that I wasn't talking, Juan needed to talk. So there wasn't a whole lot of watching of my videos. And I also sent her a whole bunch of links to videos in Facebook Messenger, and she never watched them either. She said she was gonna, but then when she got to Ventus, I'd asked her a couple times before she got there, and also when she got to Ventus. I was like, "Did you listen to those videos or watch those videos?" And she said, "No, I didn't have time." But with her going over to Juan's all the time while she was in Georgia, I mean that. You said she was supposed to be going over there to work.
She told me that she was going to be doing Postmates. She just told me that she's going to be doing Postmates. She didn't even mention Juan. So even here, she's been lying to me.
Well, she also lied to me and Ventus and Juan. So,
how Ventus?
Well, that's a pretty long story. I did record most of what happened there at Ventus's. I mean, probably half the time I had the recording device on because it was such a fucked up situation. But they're audio files, so I could probably send you them in an email. If you can text me your email.
I would, but my email is also on her phone, and I'd rather not get into an argument with her.
Yes, sir.
Hang on. I can't. But go ahead and keep talking, I guess.
All right. Well, I usually when people stab me in the back, the first thing I do is post it up on YouTube. With the situation with Star, like I still need her help. I still need her to speak up. I recorded, a lot of stuff that she should have spoke up about, and she did. You know, she knew she was being recorded, and she did tell the truth, which is pretty important. But I also need her to say that in court, and it got to the point there that it was pretty obvious that neither one of them were actually going to help. They were both just going to basically make loud noises until I gave up. And everyone in that household knew that, I can't work with all of that going on. And I'm trying not to be an imposition on them, but, it's difficult when both of the people that you're, or all three of the people that are supposed to be helping you are all busy having a friggin' fucked up. I can't even call it a love triangle because there ain't no love there. It's just sex. When you called me up and were asking me what she was doing at 4 o'clock in the morning a few nights before, like she was having sex with Ventus, and I really wanted to tell you that, but at the same time, like I really needed her help, and I didn't want her throwing a tantrum and hating me and all of that because if that ends up happening, then she's not going to tell the truth. She's not going to show up in court. And it got to the point where I realized she's not going to do anything. She's going to. The first time she seemed like she was interested, but the when we were at Ventus, she really wasn't interested in anything except getting attention from Ventus. Me, I don't get jealous. Like Juan, he was jealous because she was having sex with Ventus, but I don't get jealous because I'm not interested in sex. I was pissed off because of time management. Like here we are, I'm spending all this time trying to work on this stuff, and I can't get it done while you're fucking because I have to be able to record it. I'm sorry you're dealing with this, and I was gonna send my sister $200 a month to try to help her and Riley and my niece out, but I can't do that even. I spent all of my money to try to get help that didn't help. And don't get me wrong, like she did do things that were helpful. She did drive me to court in Larimer County, and she did uh, drive me back from there. So that's good. And then, she drove me up here to Nebraska. I gave her $60 to do that. So altogether, I gave her a little over $500, and that was out of $600 that I had from my
English.
Yeah. So I don't know what to do, dude. I really need her to speak up, but at the same time, I need to be able to speak up myself about how fucked up the situation was and actually get help. After Natalie was killed, everybody I knew stabbed me in the back. All these people who claimed that they cared, they just couldn't take the time to show it. There's a big difference between the words and the actions. Like when Star tells you that she loves you, but then she's off fucking Ventus. And apparently Juan too. I didn't know she was having sex with Juan. I knew that they had a history together. That's actually the word that she used. She said that her and Juan had a history.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that they were having sex there at the hotel in Scottsbluff.
Yeah, they were. She didn't even tell me about that. No, she waited until she got here.
It's fucked up.
And then, like, after she talked to Ventus, she came here and she's, like, had this whole new ideology talking about, like, oh, she wants an open relationship. She wants an open marriage. She wants to start doing polygamy.
after calling you a cheater. I shouldn't laugh about that. That just comes across as mean, and
No, like,
it is. I didn't mean it mean, and I'm sorry.
no, it's fine, alright? It's like, I'm not mad at that. Like, it's like, how the fuck can you, like, call me a cheater? I've never done it. And then, like, you go out and I leave you. Like, I trust you to go out. And I'm over here taking care of our kids. I'm like scared sick almost every single night because I'm like worried about her. But no, she's just fucking her ex, the one who made her life hell back then before I came in. And then like fucking this other guy who she barely even knew. And now she's like listening to everything that he says.
When she came down the first time, did you know that she brought Juan with her?
Yeah, I found out because she came and told me. She never said that she went with Juan when she left.
She told you when she got back?
She told me when she got back.
Well, it's not the first time this situation has happened to me. When I was at Tabby's, she had her boyfriend was abusive. She had like 4 kids with him. His name was Joshua Eichelberger, and he literally was just an asshole to everybody the whole time I was there. He was getting drunk. He was always nice to me. Even Gimpy, I could beat him piss limber, and he knew it, especially when he's drunk. But the problem is that every time that Graham, that was Joshua Eichelberger's supposedly best friend. Graham's a Christian, though, so take that with a grain of salt. But every time that Graham was going to help me, and I did pay Graham to help me, every time he was going to help me, Josh needed his attention, and Josh was drunk. Drunks always need attention. So I couldn't stay there anymore. I couldn't listen to Josh screaming at them anymore, and Tabby wasn't keeping her word to write a report. I mean, it's just hell. So anyway, after I left, that's when she got rid of Joshua Eichelberger. I'm like, shit, if she would have gotten rid of him while I was there, it would have been great because everything was great at her house with the exception of that dude. We all worked together to clean up the house. We all worked together for dinner. You know, we all did it. We did everything as a family. You know, I was even there when her son was born. But then when Graham and her started having sex, I was like, oh, well, that really changes the dynamics because now if there's a situation where Graham is doing something fucked up and I need to turn him in, I still need Tabby's help, but they're having sex, so she's automatically going to take his side. And that was the thing with Ventus down there too. Like, you can't tell Ventus the star's doing something wrong because he's automatically going to be on her side, and he was. And you can't tell her that, you know, it's fucked up, that Ventus is doing something fucked up because Ventus, she's going to defend him. And, you know, that's why the dynamics of sex are so fucked up. It boils people's brains. It makes them mentally retarded. When I say,
he even convinced her to like change all of her whole beliefs. Over here, while we were still dating, she kept like urging me to join her to go to her church, and I went. I'm like, okay, all right. And then like she started urging me to join her church. We there like every single time. I didn't want to, but I did it for her. And then like I grew to like it. I'm here because I wanted to be here. And then she's talking to me about like everything of church. Like she's telling me like what they're saying because I don't understand too much Spanish. But yeah, longer. She told me she's not a Christian anymore. This whole good and bad, there's none of that.
I believe in Jesus, but I'm not a Christian.
Exactly. But no, like she doesn't believe nothing of church religion.
So basically, everything that she pressured you to do, she's not interested in.
Exactly. Everything I've done for her, it's now pointless.
I'm glad her dad's helping you out.
I am too, but I'm miserable here. Like the first time she left, I was miserable. I didn't tell her because I didn't want her to worry about me. And then when I found out, even like while she's here, like speaking with me, I was still miserable. Like I guess I became depressed because I don't even like to do the things that I used to that made me happy. I don't even eat anymore. And then, well, she's over there now, still saying I love you, babe. But her excuse over there for not messaging me is, oh, she's helping you, oh, she's doing this, oh, she's doing that. But she would always say, like, oh, she's helping you. You're not there anymore. And she can't even fucking message me.
Is she still telling you that she's helping me?
No. She told me that she dropped you guys, that she dropped you off already.
Good, at least she was honest about that. That's the thing. Like, there was no way that I was going to get help with either one of them unless I could get them separated, and they literally would not separate. Like, there was a couple of times that the Ventus left for a short period of time to go get some drugs, but other than that, like, yeah, it was both of them, pretty much inseparable. And that was really complicated for me. Like when I first got there, she was going to sit down and help me go through stuff, but then she would get bored within just a few seconds, and her and Ventus would be, and mind you, the whole thing is open. There's no doors in the place except for the front door, so like I can hear everything they're saying. And when Ventus would have a phone call, he'd pace, and when he'd pace, he keeps coming in and out of the kitchen, and I gotta try to concentrate on some pretty complicated stuff. I can't do that while he's talking, and I can't do it. I can't work on that stuff. When I pull out my computer and set it all up and pull everything out, show Star, and then once I've got her all pulled out, she gets up and she goes and talks to Ventus for an hour. Like, it's a pain in the ass. There was a couple times where I was talking to my autism advocate where I thought she was gonna, take part in the conversation, and she didn't. She was busy texting, and then she got up to talk to Ventus, and then, I can't really get the stuff that I need done because, like, there's constant noise in that place. And then I can't get to sleep at night because they're busy fucking, And it's not like that's entirely their fault. I don't sleep for shit anyway. But that does make it more complicated, especially like when they were doing it while Juan was there. Like, 2 o'clock in the morning, I could hear Juan get up and fucking slam the door and go outside. I'm assuming that when you called me up and asked what she was doing at 4 in the morning, that you already knew what she was doing.
I did.
Especially since you gave me a specific time. I was wondering how it is that you knew that if you and Juan don't talk, because I was wondering if you and Juan were friends, and he told you, but obviously not.
No, no. Again, I hate him. Right? I don't want. I told her I don't want him a part of your life. I don't want you talking to him. If he sends you a message, ignore it, block him, delete his number.
See, that's the thing with me is that she didn't ask my permission to give you my number, and I would have been fine with it. It was just surprising that you were calling me out of the blue, this Georgia number, and I'm like, who is this? You know? And then like afterwards when you made those,
I'm sorry. I really am. Okay.
it's okay. You didn't do anything wrong with that. You were having a lot of anxiety, you were dealing with depression. Dude, I'm not saying that as if you're doing a bad thing. You know, you I've been there, dude. Like not in that situation, but I've been in situations where I've made repeated phone calls because there's some serious fucked up shit. But it wasn't losing a wife. For me, it was, people are hurting me. I need someone to do something.
Mm-hmm.
But the point that I was trying to make, I'm trying to remember it now. When I told her, hey, you need to call your husband. He called me 28 times, and then he called me three more times, and then he called me a few more times, and you know, you need to do something. You had asked me not to tell her, and I wasn't comfortable with keeping that a secret. And when you were calling that morning, when I got up and noticed that, my phone had 28 calls from you, and she didn't say nothing to me, and neither did Ventus, I was like, all right, something needs to be done here. The third or fourth conversation that you and I had, I finally got to the point where I was like, Star, you came here to help me. I'm dealing with your drama. I'm dealing with Juan's drama. I'm dealing with Ventus's drama. I'm dealing with your husband's drama. And out of all of it, like your husband is the only one who's got a legit problem. The rest of y'all are doing some fucked up shit. Matter of fact, I messaged her. The Let me read the last messages that I sent to her, if it'll let me. I was able to do something earlier. Let's see if I can remember what I did. Voila, I got it. All right. The last message that I sent to her was on Sunday at 10:51 p.m. because she was still conscious, and they were having sex. But I left and I messaged her, and this is why it is not safe for me to be here. You didn't come here to help me. You came here to ignore everyone for Ventus. I just want to get to Nebraska with my evidence safely. I can't listen to this crap nonstop. Seriously, this is highly immoral. And that was on Sunday. So, like after that, she got the point. Um, I had messaged her. Um, at the very beginning, I typed to her. I sent her a screenshot of uh, your phone number, and I asked her, "Do you know this number?" And she let me know it was yours. Um, and then on Saturday, I typed, "Can you drop me off in Nebraska?" She typed when, and then of course by that point she had come outside, and I was already outside having a cigarette. So I explained to her then that yeah, I just need to get the hell out of here. You're not gonna get off of Ventus's. I literally said you're not gonna get off of Ventus's nuts long enough to get anything done. Like I can't get you and Ventus to pay any attention to what's going on with me. And I understand that you guys have your own thing going on. I need to get away from it. So I mean, I feel shitty for me, and I feel shitty for you. I do feel shitty for Juan about the scenario surrounding him leaving, but I can't feel bad for Ventus or Star because I mean everybody there, Star, if she doesn't get the attention, if I was getting attention, then she would start crying. And then there was when she was cutting her arm there and stuff like that because she wasn't getting enough attention. And Ventus came out and he was screaming at me. He's like, that girl's cutting on her arm and nobody bandaged it up. I'm like, dude, the bandages are right there. Everything is right there for her to do it. But at the same time, like she's got her wounds open because she wants people to see it. She wants the attention. That's why she is cutting on herself. All cutters do that. Well, that's not true. Surface cutters, that's people who take a lady bic to their wrist or cut on their upper arm, cut on their forearm like Star does. Those are attention cutters. Most of them, it's that they hope that because they're cutting, somebody's gonna stop and listen to what they have to say. And usually, that starts with them being molested by a family member and telling another family member, and that other family member doesn't believe them. Well, after that, they normalize with their sexual predator and they don't bring it up again. She did tell me that I was right about that. Um, and, nearly all of the women that I know that are cutters admit that. She just didn't tell me who it was that did it. Did she ever tell you?
She did, but it's been so long and I forgot because she's been through so much hell because of her family. Like, sure, her mom and her dad, like, there was marriage problems going on there, and then the divorce happened, and that just made everything worse. And then moving here to Georgia, where she lived with her dad, and her dad had to live with, like, her sister. So while she was living with, like, her aunt there, her whole family was was the worst. They always criticized her. They always said something to her. They made her self-esteem really low, and they treated her like garbage. They treated her and her sister like garbage there.
So, why was she going to Texas? She had to make a stop in Texas before she came to see me. I assumed that that you lived in Texas and that she was visiting like some aunts or uncles or something in Virginia because she really made it sound like you guys lived in Texas.
No, we're here in Georgia. We've been here in Georgia.
Well, who does she know in Texas?
It's because before she left to go see you to go help you the first time, she was in Texas because we were living with her mom in Texas. Her mom had a trailer home that she moved into, and then we were there with her to help her, and so that way she's not alone in Texas. Like, and then her mom went on vacation to El Salvador, so her dad went over there to that trailer home to make some repairs, and then she came back over here to Georgia with him. And then after that, she ends up saying like she has to go help you. And I'm gonna be honest, I told her don't get too attached to you. I told her I know everything sucks right now for him, but we're struggling here as well. But then she ends up saying like she's gonna go over there and help you out. And I was against it. Well, I didn't want to leave.
All the stuff except for her driving me to court and back, everything that we did there, we could have done over the phone. If I'd have known she wasn't actually going to sit down and look at this stuff, like we could have made phone calls to these places together as long as she knows how to do a three-way call, because I don't.
It's not that hard. Like, I don't know, like if you can look at your phone right now, like put me on speaker.
Yep.
What kind of phone do you have real quick? Like it's a touch one? Touchscreen, right?
Yes, sir. I think it's a TCL. It's
Okay, so yeah, like you're looking at the phone. There's a mute button. There's a keypad. There, right?
Let me see. Let me click on the ongoing call thing. All right. There's a phone with a plus sign, a phone with a pause sign, the keypad, the speaker, something that looks like the silhouette of a person, and then there's a microphone thing with a line through it.
That's the mute. But
Okay.
the one with the plus sign, that's how you make like a third caller come in.
All right. So I pressed that button and then I dialed the number for the third caller.
Yeah. And then like sometimes the phone call that you're on right like at first, that would be put on hold. So basically you would call the third person that you want, and when they pick up, there would be like you can like those little options, that same button that you push to add another caller. If you push it again, it would merge all three of the phone calls together.
All right. That actually ended up sounding a lot more complicated than I expected it to be, but I'm gonna try that. There's a lot of people that I asked them to teach me how, and they just, a lot of them didn't know how. Like my advocate didn't know how to make a three-party phone call. And then there was a lady named Cara Rogers, and she knew how to make a three-party phone call, and so we were able to record some stuff. The problem is that she was doing some fucked up shit, and she got busted lying to me. So the first thing she did was start backtracking. Lucky for me, I was able to get the phone calls from her and the information from her that I needed before she flipped out on me. I've had to deal with basically a bunch of manipulators. A lot of the people that offered to help me, they got a hold of me because they're interested. They're interested in these web sleuth groups, and they saw Rob Gavigan's channel. That's actually how Star found me. But she was telling me, everybody was telling her, well, he might be a serial killer and stuff like that. I understand all that. Almost everybody that has offered to help me, they got to deal with that. So I mean, it's overwhelming for me. I'm gonna try that third party phone call thing. I've got a visual understanding of it because I can see the buttons, and when you explain it to me, it's not like there's a lot of options. The mute button I knew was a mute button, but what's the little person in the middle button?
That will just like show you contacts. Like basically, that would just take you to phone calls.
All right, so if I press that, it'll let me see what calls I made.
Well, not your phone calls. Like it will show you your contacts. There we go. Like you can go ahead and push it right now.
Yep, I just pushed it and I can see it. It says a Boulder Public Pretender, a Bristol PD, a Casey Steele, a Chapel Post Office, a Chapel Sheriff's Number, a Chapel Tree Service, a Cheryl W.
Yeah, and that's like pretty sure that's all the contacts you made on your phone, right?
Yep.
Yeah, those are all the saved numbers that you have.
Yes, sir.
And as you said, there's a speaker, there's a whatever you want and not have to worry about the other person hearing until you push it again to take it off.
All right.
Like, go ahead and push it. And I'm pretty sure you can still hear me, but whatever you're saying, I can't hear you whatsoever until you push it again.
Fat bottom girl, you make the rockin' world go round. Did you hear that? All right, it works.
Did you hear anything I said?
I heard everything you said.
Yeah. So,
I sang a little bit of a song for you while it was on mute.
but yeah, like, so that's the silhouette of a person. It shows your whole contact list. Um, the little phone symbol with a plus, that's like to add another phone call.
What's the phone with the pause button do?
That's to put the person on hold. So you can push that, and it'll be just like the mute, but you won't be able to hear anything I say. So go ahead and push it, and
All right, I pushed it. I didn't hear anything you said. You said push it at, and then I had already pressed it because you said push it, and I couldn't hear anything after that. So it works too. And I know what the keypad is for, obviously.
Yeah. So yeah, the microphone with the flash, it'll take away, like, your microphone, the speaker's the speaker, the keypad, the silhouette shows your other contacts. So, like, let's say you're on the phone and you want to give someone, like, someone else's phone number. You can just pull that up and then say it like that. You can put the person on hold.
I'm going to try that tomorrow when everything's open. Oh, oh my God, dude. I am in so much pain right now. I've been doing a lot of sitting today. I have to walk about a mile or more before I go to bed. Otherwise, I'll kick myself to death in my sleep. I've woken up with some pretty messed up shins. But I didn't go for a walk tonight. It's cold, and I was working on stuff until it got dark, and I'm afraid of going outside by myself, especially at night, because if the sheriff sees me by himself, then he can do some immoral shit.
Yeah.
Also, there's a lot of stuff that I need for my court stuff. They keep asking, they want in specific the names and dates of different events, and I have to go to the Dual County Sheriff's Department for that, and they're not giving up anything. They tell me that I have to get an attorney to get the body cameras. So, like, all they have to do is say no. I don't have the money for a real lawyer, so I'm screwed. All the money that I spent believing a star was going to help, that. And don't get me wrong, I did pressure her a lot because I needed somebody in person to help me, but the stuff that she helped with in person, other than the ride to court, we could have done over the phone. My Aunt Mary could have taken me to court. I'm
sorry, like, I really wish you told her, like, to go back home.
Well, as far as telling her to go back home, what I told her is that she's a grown-ass adult, and I'm not going to tell her what to do because she's a grown-ass adult.
Yeah, but you could have just, like, said, that you knew that she had kids.
Yep.
You knew that she had family here.
And I did bitch at her about that because, like, my parents did not raise us kids. The only one of us 4 kids that was raised not in the system is my little sister. My little brother, he got to spend a lot of time with his dad. But me and my older brother, it was pretty much the system till we turned 18.
Uh,
If they locked me up, I'd be all right. I mean, at least I'd have some consistency. The problem is I can't get them to lock me up permanently. They won't do it. I literally did everything I could to try to force the police to look at this information, to try to get a court date. They did everything they could to make sure that I couldn't go to my court date. I'm not allowed to bring up any of the fucked up shit the lawyers did. I'm not allowed to bring up any of the fucked up shit that the cops did. I'm not allowed to bring up any of the harm that has been brought against me. I'm not allowed to bring up any of my attempts to try to get the cops to do their jobs. I'm not allowed to bring up any of the assaults. I'm not allowed to bring up the court dates that I was railroaded in, but they're allowed to bring them up to railroad me again. And that's the problem with the Clearview thing, is that if they'd dropped the charges at Clearview, then I could have gone on with my life. But they wouldn't. Well, I couldn't have gone on with my life, but I could have pursued legal action against those places, but they just weren't going to do that. They knew that if they had charges that they held over my head, that they could do whatever they wanted. Now, there's a lot of people that did fucked up shit and manipulated, and like Mandy Hughes, for example, she was completely full of shit the whole fucking time. These people didn't understand that, hey, you know what? Throwing money at me isn't going to fix this. I need help in person. Of course, when those people didn't keep their word, I posted it on YouTube. That's the right thing to do. Show the truth. If the courts won't listen, well, I got to show it somewhere. I can't just continue to take this abuse. Now, Meg, my advocate, she was called inappropriate in court. You know why they called her inappropriate? Because she wrote a letter that told the truth. And the judge told her that was inappropriate. They won't allow me to bring up the safety issues that were created by Sheriff Scott DaCosta, or the fact that the state patrol, instead of investigating the crimes against me, they helped my predators. At no point in time did law enforcement take it seriously about any of the threats, harassment, or assaults that I've been enduring. And when they did finally take it seriously, it was only because they were trying to cover their asses. So yeah, I guess I'm not the monster you were expecting me to be.
expecting me to, like, no, son, like, I mean, I've never thought of you like that. I never thought, like, oh, that, you're some crazy person. Like, oh, you're a killer. Oh, like, you're a drug addict. No, I never thought of you like that. Star showing me videos of you, and I'm just like, oh, man, that's really bad. And I knew you needed help.
Yep. So did she. The thing is, and I did pressure her a lot to come back. Like, I sent her that money, and I was hoping, that I would be able to, because I sent her $400, hoping that it would be enough to get her there, and I was going to do my best to try to come up with some gas money to get her home. And Ventus said that he was going to help her get some gas money to get home. She was going to stay there just long enough to go to court with me, but.
Well, that was a fucking lie. Ventus didn't do anything. He just convinced her to stay there. Do not come back over here.
Well, it really fucking was a kick in my teeth, because before they hooked up, Ventus was all about helping me, and Star was all about helping me. And then, like, it turned out they weren't, after they had sex, they weren't interested in helping. They were interested in having sex and getting attention. Ventus is an attention whore too. So I mean, them giving each other attention is, whatever. The thing is, I let her know that what she was doing was highly immoral. When she was doing that stuff with Ventus, I was the whole thing going through my head is, man, she's got a husband, and she laid down to cuddle with me, and that was uncomfortable for me because, like, sure, she had all of her clothes on, and I had all my clothes on, and I am a cuddle bug, but I prefer to cuddle with a dog. I don't want to cuddle with a married woman, and the part that was uncomfortable for me wasn't that she, was cuddling with me. It's the fact that, like, her boobs were touching me, And I know that's something that a dude isn't. That's not something a dude should be weirded out by. But like, I've only had sex twice my whole life. One of those times was to get one of my stalkers to go away. Once she realized I have a tiny penis, she was done with it, which is cool because she'd been stalking me since she was 15, and I had sex with her when she was 19. And then the other one was my friend Ryan Ingersoll, and that was because I know how most women get when they feel rejected. They do a lot of evil shit. And I didn't want it getting taken out on me or the kids. Now, she did take it out on me anyway, because I didn't last very long. It's not like I have sex all the time. So, it didn't last long. But the whole thing there was that I was worried about how, because she was really drunk, I was worried about how she would handle the rejection thing. And then she pissed all over me. But Rihanna was going through a 175 at Captain Morgan every day, and she died last year. Now, she's not one of the people that, when I say that there's 22 people that are dead because the cops didn't listen to me, Rihanna's not one of them. She's dead because she was an alcoholic. She had those seizures because she was a severe alcoholic, and she's dead because she was a severe alcoholic. However, before she died, I was at least able to get her to tell the truth, and I was able to record it. I got railroaded in court, and I literally had to plead guilty in order to get my computer back because my computer was full of evidence of the wrongdoing of police officers in Colorado and Nebraska. But it took me like 6 or 7 months to get that back. I literally had to leave the state of Wyoming. They wouldn't help me at all until they did illegal and immoral shit, and then they were all for helping me get out of town. All of it over a fucking hoodie. When I was released from jail, they made sure that they towed my vehicle so that I didn't have access to the evidence. And I told them, I was like, hey, there is literally evidence in there of child abuse. You can't do that. And there's evidence on my computer of crimes that I literally had to commit to try to get a court date. I mean, I was explaining to them, that what was going on, but they weren't hearing what I was saying. They were cutting me off mid sentence almost every time. So I didn't get to finish anything that I was saying. That whole thing with me lighting a fire, I'd already pled guilty to that. I don't lie about the crimes that I commit. If I commit a crime, I'll fucking say it loud and proud. If I am committing a crime, it's to save lives 100% of the time. The problem is that I literally had to lie in order to get those court dates. I had to threaten the people that were threatening me. Ever since Natalie was killed, you know, I was suicidal the whole year before she was killed because of the things that her and her friends were doing to me. And since she died, it's been a thousand times worse because the police took part. And when I try to tell on the police, they use the mentally ill tag as an excuse to harm me. I can't tell them that I was bullied to the point that I want my life to end because instead of doing something about the bullies, they're going to lock me the fuck up. That's not okay. The judges, they don't care. You know, at this point, it's pretty obvious to me that Judge Brandon Rowland needs a bullet to the head. So does Sheriff Scott Costa. So does Waylon Lolatai. The thing is, I'm not willing to kill people. That's pretty much everybody's option. You know, everybody, when I tell them, what's going on, they're like, man, I'd fucking kill somebody. I'd fucking kill somebody. I'd fucking kill somebody. And I get sick of hearing that shit. I had to commit the crimes that I committed because the police were not going to listen to me. I still have to deal with this shit daily. I have to deal with the police intimidating the people that I stay with. They did that at Candace Bondurant's. They've done that here. And then they coordinate and work with each other across multiple jurisdictions in order to do the things that they're doing. But then I'm not allowed to bring up anything from any of those jurisdictions. Everything that I needed to do in order to take those officers to court, those officers were outright lying to me. And I had to call their superiors to try to get something done. Like, no, their superior officer, if I call him and say, hey, your dude's abused me, their superior officer isn't going to do anything except try to cover up their crimes. One of those officers said, well, if you're making a complaint, it just tells me that my officers are doing their jobs. And at that point in time, I didn't have the ability to record. Most of this, I didn't have my computer to record on, so I had to record it on my phone. Plus, I have to record a lot of these people clandestine like. So I actually have a little recording device that just records audio. But I mean, it was such a screwed up situation. When I was in Scotts Bluff, they'd taken all of my evidence away. They'd taken everything that I needed in order to show what was going on. They'd separated me from, and they do that over and over. Every time I try to turn in an officer, they do this. And then they lie to me about who I need to call, and then they're very vague. Like I got off the phone with the Rollins Police Department. I called them up to explain to them that I had evidence that I was forced to plead guilty to a crime that I didn't commit, and I did. I had to plead guilty to breaking a machine that I didn't break. And Rihanna admits to that. All she had to do was mop the floor. She also claims that uh, I stole a coffee and didn't pay for it. The fact is, Rihanna told me to take the coffee and that she would pay for it. But when I left, I threw $7 at her. I'm like, here's all my money. I'm fucking done with you. And the whole argument was over her beating on uh, Amy Spencer's kids. Like, shit, lady. And don't get me wrong, those kids were not well behaved. They're addicted to sugar, and with Rihanna being the one who's in charge, being as she's the one that Amy dropped them kids off with, and her being the one that owned the camper, and her being the one that owned a vehicle that had all the lights working and all of that, like, yeah, we were all subservient to Rihanna, and they knew that they didn't have to listen to Rihanna. She was too drunk to fucking know what was going on anyway. And Rihanna, if she was to spank them, that would be one thing. That's acceptable according to the state of Wyoming. But if she was to spank them because they were doing something wrong, then that's acceptable there. But she wasn't doing that when they did something wrong. She was doing that like she'd tell me about how much she missed her boys and how she can't take care of her boys, and now she's trying to take care of two girls that aren't even hers. And then usually within 5 minutes of that, she was smacking them kids. The kids were extremely violent too, though. They kept on throwing shit at each other. And like the only person there that didn't hit anyone while I was there was me. I'm literally the only one who didn't hit anybody, and literally everybody there had hit me. Ran accident, and both of the girls had hit me on accident. None of them tried to hit me. They were busy trying to hit other people. When Rihanna was getting the worst about it, I literally stepped in between her and the girls, and I was getting hit from both sides. There's a wooden whale that they had. They kept throwing at each other, and it was in pristine condition when I first got there. By the time I left, all the fins on it had broken off. There's a lot of people say ignorant shit like freedom won't exist here soon. I'm like, when I read stuff like that, the thing going through my mind is freedom doesn't exist here. Your rights are based on your income. Your rights are based on your money. The biggest issue in Chapel, Nebraska, like people, because Juan is brown and she's brown, and everybody in Chapel, Nebraska blames everything on blacks and Mexicans, even though there ain't none there. Like, yeah, Star and Juan were not comfortable there. And for good reason. I mean, it's a shitty place. I would not recommend moving to Chapel, Nebraska if I were you. I wouldn't recommend moving to Nebraska at all, matter of fact. On the west end of the state, it's a bunch of racist white people who hate everybody who's not white. And on the east end of the state, it's a whole bunch of black people that hate white people. And that doesn't mean that every white person in western Nebraska hates black people. And that doesn't mean that every black person in Lincoln or Omaha hates white people. It's just that there's a lot of them. It's not like going to Denver where, most of those kids that are white grew up with black kids. Most of those kids who are black grew up with white kids, and they're able to acknowledge that the other kids are still human beings. Like, no, Chapel, Nebraska, they teach racism. So I don't know what to do. I probably shouldn't have said ignorant because soon freedom won't exist here. That's pretty close to the truth. I mean, our Constitution disappeared in September 11th of 2001. That's when our rights got taken away. That's when the last part of the Constitution that mattered was flushed. I really don't know what to do. I mean, when it was obvious to me within 2 days of Star and Ventus, being there together, it was pretty obvious that they weren't actually going to be able to take the time to look at that stuff. They weren't going to be able to stop OCDing to each other long enough to actually help me. And I really held on hope because Star kept on saying she was gonna, and Ventus kept on saying he was gonna, but no, they just couldn't. I really, Star wanted to go to Colorado. She wanted to get down there and get me safely out of Nebraska. That's when we left Scottsbluff. We didn't go to Colorado. We went to the place where I had my stuff, and we grabbed it and we piled it all into her vehicle, and we went and did a bunch of errands. And then when we went to Colorado, like, we stopped on the side of the road, and I needed to pee. And then Juan got on his phone, and he doesn't stop talking. There's also some of the recordings that I have. He's talking to somebody, I don't know who, and Star throws a tantrum because he was apparently lying to whoever it was that he was talking to, but it's all in Spanish, so I don't understand a word of it. I don't know what it is that he was saying that was a lie. I wish I knew Spanish. It's probably like 3 in the morning there, I'm assuming. You still there, Jose? You all right, dude? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry. She pops up into my head so many times. It's really annoying. But I just can't help myself.
It sounded like labored breathing. I was hoping you didn't cut your throat on the phone with me. Oh, I unplugged my fucking phone. Jesus. There is no way to keep this thing charging, apparently.
Hey, Don, what was the whole reason that you called me for?
Well, I wanted to get information from you about it because, I mean, if I say it, then I just get treated like I'm crazy and I'm hallucinating it. But you're her husband, so it's proof that it's not just me. It's not some paranoid, delusional shit. I got to be able to show that I was trying to get help,
Uh-huh.
and also the drama and stuff that was going on there, and the situation with you. Like that's all stuff that does affect me. I do have emotions. I do care about other human beings, and when you were calling me, dude, I was trying not to cry at you. I mean, I was that shit hurts me like you wouldn't believe. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning there, isn't it?
Sorry, can you give me a moment?
Yeah.
Hang on. Sorry, Sean.
That's all right. I figured it was about 3 in the morning there, so I should probably let you get some sleep.
No, it's 2 in the morning. And frankly, ever since she left, I can't sleep because I'm always scared for her. But I don't have to be scared for her anymore. No, all I have to, the only thing that goes through my head is just being depressed.
That's where I've been at for about 4 years now. Well, 5 years. My major depression hit when I hurt my back, and all my friends showed me that they were just words.
Again, I'm sorry right now. My daughter woke up and I have to be here trying to put her back to sleep.
You're good. I'll talk to you later, okay, Jose?
Yeah. Hang on, Sean, please.
Yes, sir.
Again, like, what, like, why did you call in the first place? I mean, I was okay with talking about everything else, but, like, why did you call now?
Because I paid that money out to try to get help that I didn't get. And it didn't just affect me, it affected a lot of people. There were a lot of people who worked together to try to get her there to help me.
Mm-hmm.
And then she didn't. And
so
if I
basically, you want that money back?
No, I don't want that money back. I'm not going to make you do that, dude. That is cruelty. It's the matter of, they're going to ask why I didn't get all of this stuff done while Star was there. And, I needed somebody to verify it. It'd be easier to verify with Juan, but you don't have his number, and I understand why you don't like him.
You can find him on Facebook, honestly.
Juan Santana?
Yeah, Juan Santana. And I don't know, I can't remember what the fuck his profile picture is, but you can also go to ours, Facebook, and then like look through her friends, and then when you like click on like see all friends on her Facebook thing, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to search like date name, and it'll pop up.
I just brought up Facebook, and it's taken a while to load, but I'm going to type his name in the search bar.
But
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
Go on as to like why, what's going on.
Well, it's because anything that I say, I get treated like I'm schizophrenic and that I must be lying. So I need people to verify that I'm telling the truth. When it's their word versus mine, I automatically lose because of the mentally ill tag. So in this situation, like I need to protect myself, and I don't want her to get in trouble, and I don't want you to get in trouble, and you can't get in trouble for any of this. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't take advantage of me. You didn't do anything wrong to me at all. Those 28 phone calls in a row that you made, that doesn't make you a bad person. Go ahead.
Yeah, like that was another thing that came to my mind too. Like, what if everything that's going on, like all the cops harassing you, what if they targeted her?
Well, I was worried about that. They've targeted a lot of other people that have helped me. They targeted the guy that I was staying with. They intimidated him into not helping me, but there's some stuff going on there that's pretty scary too. He's helped me out a lot, and it wasn't right what they did. They also did the same thing to Candace. The problem is that Candace is a coward. All these people, their excuse for not telling the truth is they have to be afraid for their kids. And the fucked up thing is, it's not an excuse. You're not wrong to worry about that. A lot of the people that helped me were targeted by the police repeatedly. But also, like I told my story on YouTube and on Facebook. There's a lot of people that hate me that get on YouTube and Facebook. So, I'm typing his name in now. I got a whole bunch of stuff I have to go through for court too. Let's see. Juan Santana, one mutual friend, lives in Mableton, Georgia.
No.
Well, that's him. That's definitely him. He doesn't live in Mableton, though, I take it.
Oh, well, I guess go ahead and, like, click on the profile, like, click on his name, and then, like, if you can, check out his post.
It says Juan Santana. Hello, my name is Juan. I work, sleep, and play guitar. It says, do you know Juan? See what he shares with friends. And then it says one mutual friend, and it's got star. So
yeah, that's him.
Apparently, he had a birthday recently.
Hmm?
Apparently, he had a birthday. Oh, September 14th. So
I don't
give a fuck. I get that. I'm sorry for keeping on talking about him. I really shouldn't.
No, I mean, it's okay. I know that you're trying to get in contact with him too. But, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, this is just me speaking. I don't give a fuck about him.
You're allowed to have emotions. You're allowed to express them.
I also don't give a fuck about Aventis. Alright?
I get that too. I do care about all of them. You know, I can't just turn it off. But the thing is that when Star came to help me, it ended up being you are worried about Star. That's why you did these things. You didn't do these things for me. You did them for your wife. Juan, he didn't do any of these things for me. He did them for your wife. And Ventus, well, he doesn't have time to help me. Basically, everybody, myself included, had to pay our attention to your wife, or she was going to cut on herself, or she was going to go sit in Ventus's room and cry.
And not one time, all that shit that's been happening, she never called me. She never called her husband. I'm over here worried sick. No. She never tried to reach out to me.
What the hell? Well, I really need to go to the bathroom like you wouldn't believe.
No, that's okay. Well, I mean, I guess, like, I guess we can just talk tomorrow if you want. It's okay.
Yes, sir, I'm totally down.
Alright.
What time should I call?
Huh?
What time should I call?
You can try calling around, like, I'm sorry.
I tell you what, I'll just wait for you to call. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I mean, you can also just send a message at first.
Yes, sir, will do.
Yeah, because, like, tomorrow we're gonna go out of state.
Yes, sir. I'm going to hang up on you now because I'm literally going to pee myself and I have to make it down a flight of stairs with a fucked up back and fucked up legs. Be safe, Jose. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Oh, my God. Ow, fuck, that hurts. Oh my God. I don't have a lot of strength in my legs. I got a message in Messenger. I wonder if it's someone else to fucking threaten me. Oh, they sent me a picture. See if I can see it. All right. That works. Got his email address. I have Star's email address. We can't call this the land of the free. You have no rights if you're poor. The police can do whatever they want to you if you don't have the money for a civil lawyer. If you try to turn them in, they can harm you and charge you with crimes as if you're the criminal. In order to charge me as a criminal, they had to omit and delete evidence repeatedly. Police across the state of Colorado worked together to make my life a living hell. Across the state. And they pulled some pretty fucked up shit. I don't have the money for a civil lawyer, so they just do whatever the hell they want. I suppose I should click back to the live stream. I'd like to reply to Little Perk. Let's see if it'll let me. Add moderator, hide user on this channel, put user in timeout, remove, report, pin message. You are right. LILPERC 30. That's his handle. The United States is not a communist country. It's not even close to a communist country. Most of y'all don't know what communism is, and you don't know what democracy is. The reason for this is because there are no true democracies in the world, and there are no true communist nations in the world. It's because everything gets lost in translation between paper and human nature. The only true democracy to ever exist was piracy in the Caribbean in the 1720s. Not all pirates. Not all pirates in the Caribbean, just pirates in the Caribbean in the 1720s. The United States was founded on piracy. Our Navy during the Revolutionary War was a bunch of sloops. Those are basically fast cargo vessels. They're not very big. They don't have very many guns on them. I think the Bermuda sloop had 8 guns, 4 on each side. You're not going to fight a ship with a line in that. When you're talking about a brig, you're talking about at least 30 guns. When you're talking about a first rate, you're talking about at least 100 guns. Some of them being 32 pounders. Fired a 32-pound chunk of iron. Although most cannonballs back in that day, they weren't made of iron. They were made out of stone. It was cheaper to manufacture, apparently.